Hello, and welcome back to 3 Martini Lunch Plays Kerbal Space Program. I'm 3 Martini Lunch, and I'm playing Kerbal Space Program. In this series, I am attempting to participate in the Versatility Marathon Challenge issued by 700 Nitro Express in the KSP forums. This is Episode 1, the second episode, being that the first episode was Episode 0. Let's see. So this is the first real challenge. So let's take a look at the ship I'm going to launch. This Meet the Neighbors Mark III. And Mark I was essentially the same ship, but it had 8 of these satellites here that I'm going to put into orbit around the moon and Minmus. I get a bonus for having extra satellites. You need to put 2 in accordance with the challenge. But I had Delta V concerns. In retrospect, I probably would have been fine, but I ran into another problem with part count, and you can see I went kind of bare. Normally I put the extra shape. Well, this one I did because there's a minimum weight requirement. That's the only way I could get it. I normally put the extra, oh my goodness, excuse me, put the extra, pretty stuff on there to make it look good. This one I wanted to minimize the number of parts that I had. Mark II was essentially the same as Mark I, having 2 of these, but a red fuel canister, what we call Big Red in my circle of friends. That one had plenty of Delta V, but the frame rate was just so awful, having 4 or 8 satellites. So even with just these 4, what it does, satellites, there are a lot of parts in a very small package, and more part count means more lagginess. You can see I've got 140 on this puppy, and I think the Universal 2 has 60 or 70 parts, so it's going to be over 200. Even that was pretty, that was getting me down to 3 and 4 frames per second, which is about the minimum I could bear. When I had the 8 satellites instead of 4, I was getting between 2 and 3 frames per second, and it was just undoable. Anyways, well, let's see what I've got here. I've got a lander, and right here at the top section, kind of mounted Apollo-esque style. It's going to be full of Kerbals, and 4 of them that are going to land on Minmus and then land on the moon. By the way, today's challenge is to land on Minmus and then land on the moon. And while you're at Minmus, drop off a couple of satellites. Bonus if you get 1 equatorial, 1 polar, and drop off a rover if you got it. Again for another bonus. And when you're at the moon, same thing, drop off a couple of satellites, and if you got to drop off a rover, oops, you don't have to see it here. Oh my goodness. Yep, let's put a rover that goes on there too. And it doesn't really matter. I've actually already flown the mission. This is after the fact, but I'll show you what it looks like. Let's see, lunar rover. And we flip it over. Flip over the rover. Okay, there we go. So we got a lunar rover. Anyways, so it was 170 part count, and then again plus the 62 at 30, it becomes nearly unbearable. I did have some Delta V concerns initially with this one, but it turns out they were unfounded. Here's where I normally say let's get to the launch pad, but I already spilled the beans that I've already completed the mission and just came back here as an afterthought to show you in the space hangar, or not the space hangar, the vehicle assembly building. So let's get out there onto the launch pad. And here I am on the launch pad. And, from what you heard there in the VAB, I'd already completed the mission, but I had not yet done the voiceover. I'd done all the video editing. And here you can see I forgot to turn SAS on when I launched, but fortunately I got the smart ass and let him go ahead and just hold me at 90 as I gain altitude, attempting to reach Kerbin orbit. And here we go. That was a little bit of a fast edit. Tilted over to 45 degrees for my gravity turn. And you've seen a guy get into orbit before, so I just get into 100 kilometer orbit. And go ahead and jettison that last piece of lifter that got me there. And it's got its own brain and a little bit of rocket juice left. So it's going to go ahead and deorbit. Now, once again, there's a penalty if you leave trash in space, and I'm not going to leave any. So here I am, and it's down. And I'll go ahead and rendezvous with the Universal 2. And I'm going to disconnect that lander first after a quick save, which it turns out it didn't need. Come on, disconnect. and bring it in for a nice, easy dock at the Universal Mark II. Here it is. Hope you don't mind hope you don't mind I cut out a lot of the goings on. Oh, this one's kind of interesting. I did have some trouble. Whatever I bounced off for whatever reason, the magnetics didn't take effect, so I had to back up a little bit and reorient and just go ahead and redock. But ultimately, it went smoothly as well. Nobody got hurt. And then zip it around to the sunlight. Anyways, I'm going to be doing a lot of deep edits, and even with that, it's going to come up to be between 10 and 15 minutes of video. I had a lot of stuff going on here. Anyways, you can see the unwieldy looking Meet the Neighbors now with the attached to the Universal. Go ahead and we're quite nice. Set up a nice little encounter there with Minmus right off the bat. And I don't think I'm going to let MacJeb do this one. I'm going to go ahead and do the burn myself. So we start the burn, and burn, and burn, and burn eventually gets down to bring him in. I don't know why it does this flashing here, some kind of floating point thing. Eventually I switch over to RCS and get it as close as possible, about 110 kilometers there. And I'm bringing the axis down to 500 kilometers. I'm going to release the satellites up at that altitude. I figure the higher they are, the less delta V they'll take to well, one of them is going to go into a polar orbit. They have like 3,500 delta V, so I mean, I could do it around 100,000 kilometer round orbit around Kerbin without any trouble. Anyways, you can see there that one's got 3,682 delta V, or meters per second delta V. Anyways, I go ahead and get that all deployed and move over to the second one. I don't know if I'm going to show the. Oh yeah. I wanted to turn it away from the ship, but I forgot to switch over to it and wound up batting it away. I checked, there's no damage, so we're going to let it go. In the meantime, bring the main ship down to 50,000 meter orbit. Back to the. Now here's what I love, MacJeb. Okay, go ahead and put it in a polar orbit. And push the button, execute the node. Here we go. Zip. And go ahead and fire those rockets. Come on. There we go. Whoop. Oh, just like that. Anyways, that's a single maneuver node. I'm sure I could have done that on my own. Anyways, getting ready to land on Minmus with the lander there, and it's got. It doesn't say what it has for delta V, but it's got plenty. 1,600 and some odd here. It's not going to have any trouble. I go ahead and find myself a nice location on one of the Mare, and bring it in for a nice, easy peasy macaroni and cheesy landing. And pretty good. I landed on the seas of Minmus. That's about the only place I can land. Or at least the only place without an atmosphere that I can land. And I go ahead and get out. I think I'm going to hop on the rover there. Don't tip it over. Come on out. Plant a flag, might as well. There we go. 3 martinis. Versatility Marathon to Minmus. And then, let's hop on the rover. Oh, that's right. Get a screenshot. Okay. Let's go ahead and hop on the rover. And take her for a spin. Oh, slippery. These these must be covered in ice. Whoa. Careful there. Okay. Enough fun. Let's get back in the lander. Go ahead and take off. And taking off of Minmus is super easy. Go ahead and take off once again. Rendezvous and land. You've all seen me do it before. I'm sorry, rendezvous and dock. So I cut most of that out in the interest of time. And again, I've gotten pretty good at docking. It's pretty much a no-brainer right now. And then go ahead and set up an encounter with the moon. And I think, I'm going to go ahead and let MacJeb pilot this one in for me. But no, I have second thoughts. Something went wrong. Okay, there you go. Now pilot it. And I'll just sit back and watch while MacJeb takes me into lunar orbit. Down, down, down. Okay, come on, let's get to the next seed. And here I am. Again, I'm not going to circularize. I forgot. Did I come down to 500,000 again? I think I went down to 500,000. 500,000 meters. There we go. And I think I'm going to set myself up equatorially and then go ahead and drop these puppies off. Again, you can see I'm at 500,000 kilometers. Not quite as exciting as the last one. I managed to remember to switch from one ship to another and don't run everybody into each other. Let's get the other one off there. Come on. Activate the engine and go. And again, no nasty events like last time. Drop it down. This time I had some fuel concerns. I thought I was cutting it kind of close on fuel, so I thought I'd set that orbit just as close as possible so that it took less to deorbit. Oh, here we go. Oop, oop. Come on. Oop, little jerky. Sorry about that. And whoop. Anyways, I thought a lower orbit would mean I would have less to burn to deorbit, and of course less to get back into orbit. Turns out that I had forgotten that I had much more delta V without that rover attached, so it was all for naught. I could have stayed in a regular 50,000 or 100,000 meter orbit, and that would have been fine. So anyways, detach from the universal and smear around retrograde. Go ahead and slow down, and again, they want to see the whole landing process, but you'll watch me touch down. Again, you can see MechJeb isn't landing for me. I'm doing this all myself. And I'm coming down, 3,500 meters. Oh, you can see on the left is 500 meters, 3, 2, oh no, slow down. Oh, you're going too sideways. No. Come on, you can fix that. You can land. Careful. Oh, that was close. Come on, slow it down. Oh, no, careful. Whoa. Easy. Okay, come on. And collect yourself up here. Let's go and slow it down and try to. Oh, there we go. Perfect 4-point landing. Absolutely perfect. And this is why I don't mind using MechJeb to land, because that's how I land. Oh, I use MechJeb to try to set my heading, pitch, and roll, and that's what happens. Once again, back to rendezvous and docking. And again, I cut most of that out because you've seen me rendezvous and dock before, and it's not that exciting. And you can see I've got plenty of Delta V 1800 or something like that remaining. And I go ahead and bring that down around Kerbin. I do some aero braking, and then set myself up into a 100,000 meter orbit. Now, I also realized that I forgot to put parachutes on the lander, so I do not get any bonus points for returning my Kerbals to Kerbin. I will at a later time send up a ship to retrieve them, but I'm going to have to pass on the bonus points. Anyways, that's it for this time. I want to thank you for tuning in, and good night, everybody. You too, Mrs. Miller.